Ever since I started my career about 8 or 9 years ago, whenever I'd need to do work from home, it'd either be at a desk in my bedroom, the kitchen table, or at a desk in my living room whenever I lived in an apartment. I've never really had a dedicated office space that I could really make my own. Well, that changed over the summer. Me and my wife purchased our first home together, and we've been slowly working through all of the DIYs involved in purchasing a home. And now we've come to the office, a place where I spend a majority of my time now that I predominantly work from home. It's not only the place where I work, but it's also the place where me and my wife like to spend some time together after a long day of work, playing some games. And so today, we're going to talk about how I turned this boring white walled office into the ultimate gaming office. So first up, I went ahead and took a picture of our desks as they sit. Then I went over to Pinterest and then browsed for some ideas so I can give that to ChatGPT. So then I went over to ChatGPT, I uploaded my images, and asked it to make me a mock-up. After doing some back and forth, this is what it came up with, and this became the basis of my overall design. So once I was happy with that, I went and took pictures of my other walls, and then uploaded that to Canva. Then I copied product listings from Amazon and uploaded them to Canva. That way I can move things around and shift things and just get an overall idea of what the wall is going to look like before purchase anything. This allowed me to iterate through many different designs pretty quickly. So now that the design was done and the items were ordered, it's time to get to work. So here's where we ended up after day one. Got the whole room painted, a nice cracked pepper color according to Bear. Got the wood panels nailed to the wall, looking really good. So left on my list is getting these hung up and also putting a shelf across the top. I originally was planning on using these smaller floating shelves, but I realized that the color doesn't really match. And also trying to put 3 or 4 of these in alignment sounds like an absolute nightmare after trying to do one. We tried to do one last night and kind of gave up because my stud finder sucked. So got all that to do. I'm not sure what order we're going to do that in, but I'm going to go pick up a mini fridge today from Home Depot. I got some Go-V lights that are going to go here in the middle, the hexagon ones. I also have some pegboard that I'm going to put up here to hang all of my gadgets and random stuff, and a shelf similar to the one I'm going to put on the other wall. And then for my wife, she didn't want pegboard, but we're going to give her a nice shelf for our guy Hedwig and Plant. And then we're also going to add a console. So we're going to add a console with like a filing cabinet for all of our stuff, and then kind of a catch-all for things that we don't normally need but still use at some point. And then a few picture frames to fill in the space. And then the last thing I'll probably get to is painting the doors white. So the previous owner painted the doors white and my wife hates it. So we're going to paint that to kind of match all the crown molding and then the accents. So should be fun.
An idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich what?
An idiot sandwich that rams.
All right, well, we've got our wood to make our shelves, so let's go ahead and clean up and then make another mess. Do you approve, Ellie? All right, so here we are after day 2. Got the shelf mounted, got the posters up, got some other picture frames up, got the little console thing there, and then I even rode the struggle bus yesterday. Had a really hard time getting these to line up. It's probably hard to tell, but they're like a millimeter off. It's really obvious whenever you put the actual pegboard over top of it. I accidentally made it too close to the wall. I tried to line it up with where I was thinking about putting it over here, but that ended up being an issue. Whenever I went to the other side, it just looked really awkward, especially with how far my desk sticks out from the wall. So what I'm thinking about doing is I got some Gorilla Glue mounting tape. It's not Gorilla Glue, but it's Gorilla Glue brand mounting tape. I think I'm just gonna stick it on the back of these guys. I think I'm just gonna stick it on the back of these guys and mount it. It's supposed to hold up to 45 pounds. I think it's like 3 pounds per inch or something. Those are only rated for 10 pounds anyway, so I think it'll actually end up being stronger without me having to put 10 more holes in my wall conservatively. Because even if I wanted to move this over a millimeter, it's just not going to work, because now that there's a hole, I'd have to pull the anchors out, plug the hole, move it over probably this far. I don't want to make more holes in my wall. So gonna do that. Got the Go V lights as well. So gonna do those guys. Gonna put those up in the center in between us. And that should be a wrap. Gonna try to get to the doors eventually, but I'm running out of steam on day 3. So let's get her finished up. All right, so a little bit of change of plans here. Gonna go back to the drywall anchors and screws solution. I'm just gonna try to figure out a better way to map out the holes and make sure that they're all aligned. I'm gonna try to start with just two of them, getting two side by side. Try to use the laser, make it a little bit easier. I was looking at this guy, and this is what I was planning on using instead, but it only supports 3 pounds per 4 inches, and I have 6 panels, and each panel would need at least 6 inches. So I just don't think that that would really. I don't want to go buy another one of these. That would take longer than just drilling some holes. And plus, I got some drywall screws at Home Depot that are even stronger. So these are rated for 20 pounds. I'm going to use the smaller ones, which are rated for 20 pounds. So another day, another project.
No.
Can I pet that dog?
No, he's
Can I
sleeping.
pet that dog?
All right, so just a little update here. I realized that towards the end my camera died, so it didn't record the last little bit. But I just want to give you a rundown of how I got the pegboards to, at least the frames of the pegboards to line up correctly. What I ended up doing was I took my calipers and I measured the distance between the screw holes, left and right, as well as top to bottom. And so whenever I was mounting from here to here, I focused on the inner part of this ring and then the outer part of that ring, relative to me, I guess. And so I could get to the 10th of a millimeter on accuracy, and that just ended up being so much more helpful than what I was doing before. So once I got these two put up, then I went ahead and I measured the top to bottom. So got the top to bottom, did a couple test fits, got it to where I liked it, and then used a laser to make sure that this was straight. Then I moved over here, did the same width, and then used the laser again. Use the laser again to make sure that they were lined up correctly with each other. So let's put the pegboards on, and then we are going to add the shelf up here, and then at least just for today, we're going to add the hexagon lights over in the middle. Overall, I couldn't be happier with how things turned out. From the improved functionality of the room with the pegboards and the shelving, the enhanced aesthetic, It's really become a place that I truly enjoy spending a majority of my days in. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.